Productivity experts say you need discipline, willpower, and a solid morning routine to take control of your life. Self-help gurus have been selling that same gospel for 40 years. But here is what the actual data from my 30-day experiment shows. I had all three of those things, and I was still wasting 4.3 hours every single day on decisions that didn't matter. October 1st, 6:47 a.m. I handed my phone to an AI and said, "You run my life now. Every meal, every meeting, every goal, every relationship check-in, gone from my hands." I didn't do this because I was lazy. I did it because I had hit a wall. 3 failed productivity systems in 8 months. A calendar that looked organized but felt like a prison. And a sneaking suspicion that the way most of us live isn't intentional. It's just reactive chaos wearing a to-do list as a costume. What I found over the next 30 days didn't just change my schedule. It exposed something genuinely terrifying about the gap between the life I thought I was building and the one I was actually living. Stay with me. Because the reveal at day 23 is, here is the problem with every productivity system you have ever tried. They are all built on a lie. The lie is this, that you already know what your priorities are, and you just need a better system to execute them. Planners, time blocking, habit stacking, the Pomodoro technique, every single one of these assumes your inputs are correct. They just help you process bad data faster. I tested this on myself. Before October 1st, I logged every decision I made for 1 week. Not just big decisions, every single one. What to eat, when to reply to a message, whether to take a 10-minute break or push through. I logged 214 micro decisions in 7 days. And when I ran the analysis, using a tool I'll show you in a minute, 67 of those decisions directly contradicted goals I had written down in my own journal. 67 times in 1 week, I acted against my own stated values without noticing. That is not a discipline problem. That is a visibility problem. And that is exactly why most productivity systems fail you. They give you a better engine, but they never fix the broken GPS. So what is the alternative? After 30 days of AI-managed living, I distilled everything I learned into 3 principles. These are not hacks. They are not tips. They are structural shifts in how you relate to your own time and decisions. I am calling this the Clarity Stack. 3 interlocking principles that the AI essentially forced me to confront by doing what humans are terrible at: being completely, ruthlessly consistent. Before I walk you through each one, I want to set the stage. The AI did not make me more robotic. It did not turn my life into a spreadsheet. What it actually did was remove the noise long enough for me to see the signal. Think of it like noise-canceling headphones for your entire existence. You stop reacting to everything, and suddenly you can hear what actually matters. The 3 principles are aligned defaults, friction architecture, and relationship cadence. Each one sounds simple. Each one will make you uncomfortable in a different way. Let's go. Principle 1 is aligned defaults. And this one hit me like a truck on day 4. Here is what it means. Every single day you wake up, your environment makes decisions for you before you're even conscious enough to resist them. Your phone is on the nightstand, so you check it. Coffee is on autopilot, so you drink it mindlessly. Your first meeting is at 9 a.m., so you spend the first hour reacting instead of creating. These are your defaults, and here is the brutal truth. Most of your defaults were not chosen by you. They accumulated. They were inherited from jobs, relationships, old routines that made sense 3 years ago and are now just ghost habits haunting your schedule. The AI's first intervention on October 1st was to audit every default in my day. It asked me 14 questions in the Notion AI workspace I had set up, and within 20 minutes it had mapped out which parts of my day were intentionally designed versus accidentally inherited. The answer? 11% intentional, 89% accumulated default. That number kept me up that night. Aligned defaults means rebuilding your defaults from scratch, with your actual current goals as the blueprint, not the ghost of who you used to be. Principle 2 is friction architecture. And this is where the experiment got weird. By day 11, the AI had started doing something I did not ask it to do. It began adding deliberate obstacles between me and certain behaviors. I had told it my goal was to write 1,000 words a day, so it scheduled writing as the first task every morning. But it also removed every shortcut on my laptop to social media. It restructured my phone's home screen so that distraction apps required 4 taps to open instead of 1. It was building friction into my bad habits and removing friction from my good ones. Behavioral scientists call this choice architecture. B.J. Fogg at Stanford has written about it extensively. But seeing it applied to my own life in real time by an AI felt completely different from reading about it in a book. By day 18, my average writing session had gone from 22 minutes to 47 minutes. Not because I had more willpower, because the AI had made it structurally easier to do the right thing and structurally harder to do the wrong thing. Friction architecture is not about discipline. It is about designing your environment so that your future self makes better choices than your present self would have. Principle 3 is the one that made me genuinely emotional on day 23. This is the reveal I mentioned at the top: relationship cadence. Here is what happened. On day 23, a Wednesday, the AI sent me a check-in notification through my Reclaim.ai setup. It said, and I am reading this directly from my log, "You have not had a meaningful personal conversation outside of work in 11 days. 3 people you listed as high-priority relationships have not been contacted in over 3 weeks." I sat with that for a long time. I am someone who genuinely believes relationships are the most important thing in life. I say that. I write it in my goals. I tell it to people. And yet the data, cold, emotionless, perfectly accurate data, showed that I was treating my most important relationships like a someday task, like an inbox I would get to when things calmed down. Things never calm down. That is not a scheduling problem. That is a values execution gap. The AI did not fix my relationships, but it made it impossible for me to lie to myself about them anymore. Relationship cadence means building non-negotiable, scheduled touchpoints for the people who matter most. Not because it is romantic, but because intention without structure is just a wish. Now here is what makes this framework actually work, and why each principle on its own is not enough. Aligned defaults clears the foundation. It removes the ghost habits and gives you a clean slate. But a clean slate without structure just fills back up with noise. That is where friction architecture comes in. It builds the invisible guardrails that keep you on the path even when your willpower has run out, which, if you are honest with yourself, is most of the day. But here is the thing about systems and structures. They are seductive. You can build a perfect machine for productivity and wake up one day completely optimized and completely alone. That is why relationship cadence is the roof of the structure. It is the principle that ensures everything you are building is actually for something, for someone. The AI helped me see that these 3 things had to run simultaneously, not sequentially, not as phases, as a single integrated operating system for a life. When all 3 are active, something interesting happens. You stop feeling like you are managing your life and you start feeling like you are actually living it. That is a distinction most productivity content completely ignores, and it is the most important one. Before I show you the exact tool stack that made this experiment possible, let me save you from the 3 mistakes I made in the first 2 weeks. Mistake 1, treating the AI like a search engine. I kept asking it vague questions. Things like, "What should I do today?" That is useless. The AI is only as precise as your inputs. When I switch to specific values-anchored prompts, given that my top priority this month is finishing my course and maintaining 3 key relationships, what does my ideal Tuesday look like? The output quality jumped dramatically. Specificity is the currency of AI productivity. Mistake 2, ignoring the emotional output. A few times the AI scheduled things I didn't want to do and I overrode it without logging why. That was a massive mistake. Those override moments were the most valuable data in the entire experiment. Every time you resist a scheduled task, that resistance is information. Track it, analyze it. It will show you exactly where your stated values and your actual values diverge. Mistake 3, going all in on day 1. I set up everything simultaneously on October 1st. It was overwhelming. If I were starting again, I would implement 1 principle per week. Let Align Default stabilize before you layer in friction architecture. Let that stabilize before you add relationship cadence. The clarity stack is powerful, but it needs time to compound. Now, the exact stack. If you want to run a version of this experiment yourself, here is what I used every single day for 30 days. Notion AI was my thinking layer. Every goal, every values audit, every daily debrief went through Notion AI. It is where the aligned defaults work lived. The link is in the description, and if you use it, I do earn a small commission. But I used this before any partnership existed. Motion was my scheduling engine. It takes your tasks and your calendar and automatically optimizes your day in real time. When a meeting moved, Motion rebuilt my entire day around it. Instantly. Reclaim.ai handled what I call the soft scheduling, habits, focus time, and yes, the relationship check-ins that created that day 23 moment. It integrates with Google Calendar and protects the time that matters most from being eaten by reactive work. These three tools together are the infrastructure layer of the Clarity Stack. Without them, this experiment would have been a journal entry instead of a system. Links to all three are in the description below. Now, here is the question I want to leave you with. If an AI audited your last 30 days the same way it audited mine, your actual calendar, your actual conversations, your actual behaviors, what gap would it find between who you say you are and how you actually spend your time? That gap is the experiment, and you already have everything you need to start closing it. If this gave you something real today, subscribe and share it with one person who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only. AI results vary. Always verify AI-generated content before relying on it.